everyone, it's Tyraku here, bringing you a Zoolock Hearthstone guide. To this guide, the first thing I'll be talking about is the basics of playing Zoolock, and then I'll be moving on to strategic tips and tricks. I'm going to try to make this video 5 minutes or less to get y'all on your way to playing Zoolock and becoming a legend. Alright, first off, this deck is made up of 25 minions and 5 spells. As you see in my deck, towards the right, it includes Hellfire. The reason why it includes Hellfire is because in the current meta, there is Grim Patron Warriors, which run Grim Patron Warriors, and they have 3 health, 3 attack. You gotta clear those out as fast as possible playing Zoolock. The reason why is because Grim Patrons can multiply off your minions since you play such low cost minions. Hellfire just allows you to a little safety button to clear out the Grim Patrons from the board. So I just like running that. A lot of Zoolocks don't run that. Alright, the second thing is this deck costs 2,820 dust to create. It's not a very expensive deck, but it also has some cards from the Naxxramas adventure, which costs like $25, so it's not too expensive. The term zoo came from Magic the Gathering, referring to decks that use cheap and efficient costing minions. Moving on to the basics of Zoolock. The first thing, start off in the match, I like to mulligan for 1 cost minions, which if you know what mulligan is, it's when you get your first hand, first drawing, you choose what card you keep in discard. I usually discard any card that's over 4. Reason for this is because Zoolock plays off of low cost early game tempo, meaning you want to control the tempo of the game at all costs. Playing Abusive Sergeant the first turn is not a bad idea. It's not a problem at all. A lot of people don't like doing that because of the buff, you lose it, but it won't really affect you that badly. Now, you should always play Voidwalker most time over Abusive Sergeant, but we'll get into that in a later video at a later date. A second tip on the basics of playing Zoolock is you want to trade efficiently. You want to make sure you have board control at all time. You don't want to allow somebody to build up board control, wipe out your minions, and then you have to re-obtain board control. Playing Zoolock is kind of hard to do that. I like to trade efficiently into minions. For example, trading a 3/2 Flame Imp into a 1/1 minion is an example of efficient trade. The reason for this being is the Flame Imp will not die, but the opponent's minion will die, giving you a better board control. Moving on, another tip is that you always want to use Death Rattle minions when you expect an AoE spell to be incoming. Reason for this being is because if an AoE spell comes in and you have no way to prevent dying, for example, if a Paladin consecrates on turn, I think 3 or 4, and you have no Death Rattle minions, and all your minions are below 2 health, which they most likely will be on that turn, then you'll have lost all your board control. But if you have Death Rattle minions such as Nerubian Egg or Haunted Creeper, you'll then have a 4/4 or 2 1/1s come out of that, which sets you up for good board control still. You won't be screwed over. Also, you always want to calculate the most damage you can do each turn. Put into account using Power Overwhelming on a minion, which adds +4/+4, because you don't ever want to skip a turn that you could have had lethal and allow your opponent to take advantage of that and beat you. I've had games that happened before, and I've learned from those, and I'm a better player because of that. Alright, moving on to the second section of this. It's going to be strategic tips and tricks that you can do while playing Zoolock. First and most important is always life tap before playing a minion that would leave you with 2 or more mana in a turn. For example, on turn 5, if you have Imp Gang Boss in your hand, life tap first. Since Imp Gang Boss costs 3 and you're going to have 2 left over anyways, life tap first. So then if you draw a better card, you can play that and you wouldn't have just lost out on all your mana. Another tip and trick that I think is really awesome is using Knife Juggler into Implosion. This is a great combo because it allows you to clear out the board a little bit, and if there's no minions, if your Implosion kills the minion on the opponent's side, your Knife Juggler will shoot all the knives into the opponent's face, which is pretty awesome. The extra 3 damage to the face is a big help playing Zoolock. Every point of damage counts. Also, a pretty awesome trick that I found out is to Power Overwhelm an Imp or a 1/1 minion of anything. You can Power Overwhelm anything at all, but an Imp's usually the best. Power Overwhelm the Imp, attack the hero's face, and then place Void Terror next to the Imp, and the Void Terror will gain +5 attack if it's on an Imp, and plus 5 health, which will leave him an 8/8 minion on turn 3, or no, turn 4. An 8/8 minion is a ridiculous threat towards your opponent. Moving back to the life tapping thing, try not to life tap very much versus hunters. Reason for this being is because hunters' hero power directly counters the warlock's hero power. It deals 2 damage to your hero, when your hero power also deals 2 damage to yourself, so you're potentially taking 4 damage per turn, and playing against a face hunter or an aggro hunter could leave you in a detrimental loss of health and could just ruin your whole gameplay. Also, be careful using flame imps versus hunters or any rush deck, because flame imps can kind of screw you over also. But that's it for this quick warlock deck guide. Thank you very much for tuning in. If you like this video, like it below, comment, subscribe, and I will be posting more videos soon. Thank you for watching.